What is hairy, scary, and tougher than Ganon? Exactly, a Lynel. These mighty beasts put up a great fight in Breath of the Wild. But it is possible to get better at fighting them without relying on overpowered equipment or gimmicks. You're watching Zelda Pod Smashes. Defeating Lynels is useful because they drop very nice weapons. The monster parts they drop are later needed to upgrade certain gear. And, most importantly to me, the fights are epic and so much fun. You will encounter different Lynels, normal ones, blue-maned, white-maned, and at the end even silver ones. I know how it goes, you're probably hoping to get a bit stronger before taking them on again. But by the time you're stronger, so are they. All Lynels are being replaced by stronger ones, except the one that you meet in the Zora storyline. A Lynel carries one of 3 different weapon combinations, and there's a world of difference there. Let's go through some general tips before weapon-specific ones. General tips. Use an attack or defense boost. What I often do is start with an attack boost to get some fast damage in, and then switch to a defense boost when the fight really starts. Sneak up on him to mount him or land on top of him. Mounting him is also possible mid-fight when he's down. And before you mount him mid-battle, you can get a few hits off with your weapon. And then when you're thrown off, you can quickly get a few shots off with your bow. If you try to shoot him from a high point, he'll shoot back. Some of his elemental arrows will be shot in the sky, from which they drop a few seconds later. In my experience, this is not the easiest way to take him down, and it's definitely not the most fun way. Shoot his face whenever you can. A well-aimed arrow can stun him, after which you can run in to do some big melee damage. I prefer using normal arrows because they're faster than elemental arrows. And once you've taken down your first Lynel, you'll have a bow that shoots 3 arrows at once. Using such a bow will triple the chance of stunning the Lynel. If you're fighting on grass, it will burn when the Lynel uses his fire blasts. Use the updraft to fly up, go into slow-mo and shoot his face. What I do is strafe in one direction for the first 2 blasts, then reverse direction before the 3rd blast. That gives me the best timing and I won't get hit by fire. Remember that you can always put an arrow in his face to stun him, like when he's charging for his fire blasts. Use perfect dodge or perfect guard. It's not as hard as it looks, you don't actually need perfect timing for it. If you want, you can practice on bokoblins to get a feeling for when to dodge or shield. When the Lynel does this crawling attack, run sidewards, then turn around to go after him and attack. It's easy enough to dodge. The trick is not to dodge too much, or else he'll be too far away and you won't be able to hit him. When he roars, he's about to do this explosion attack. Run away and try to get some damage in with your bow. A well-aimed shot can cancel this attack, but don't worry too much about it. When he comes charging in and swipes his weapon at you, the safest thing to do is block with your shield. If you have steel nerves, you can shoot to stun him while he's coming at you. Another pro trick: when he comes charging and swings his weapon at you, you can dodge this attack instead of blocking it. And then an easy tip: carry fairies and eat lots of food. Especially during your first tries, don't feel bad about healing up. Those were the general tips that work no matter what weapon the Lynel has. Now let's look at some weapon-specific tips. The sword and shield combination. Because of the shield, it seems harder to get a good hit with an arrow, but it's still possible. With some practice, it's not too hard to do a perfect guard or perfect dodge. Jump backwards for this, not sidewards. If you get the hang of it, you can just keep fighting the Lynel until he jumps away. Watch out for the attack where he dashes forward to slash. It has a far bigger reach than you'd expect. But when you see it's coming, it's not too hard to dodge. The spear. With this weapon, the Lynel wants to fight from a distance. Don't be afraid to run towards him to get in a few hits. In fact, he won't attack you when he's right next to you. He'll jump away and then start an attack. His spear has a very large reach, so be ready to block or dodge when he comes running at you. When he jumps into the air, he will pound his spear into the ground. You can avoid the shockwave damage by jumping at the right time. The mace. Be careful, this thing hits hard. When he comes charging at you, even your best shield might break after just a few blocks. But if you don't shield, you might die in one hit. You can use a perfect dodge. When he pounds vertically, you should jump sidewards. You don't even need a perfect dodge to do some damage, just make sure that you don't get hit. When he starts spinning his mace around, you should jump backwards, twice. But it's hard to pull off, so you might be better off shielding in the beginning. Try to see this attack coming, because it's one of the toughest attacks to deal with in the game. So, I realize this is probably a lot of tips to take in. What I would do is focus on one thing at a time. I also didn't do all of this right away. I kept adding moves to my arsenal. So start with the techniques that suit your playstyle. Then my last tip is, bow to your opponent after you defeat him, to acknowledge his valor and the epic fight. An in-depth video about the history and lore of Lynels is high on my to-do list. If you want to see that, more tips, or my Let's Play series, consider subscribing. I'm Stefan and you've been watching Zelda Pot Smashers.